Well, greetings, Business 20 students. This is week number 13 in our 16-week course in business mathematics. So we're on the last section, the last module, the last 4 weeks to go in the course. And of course, this is the week after we had the shutdown. So we had the Canvas shutdown, and then I gave you an extra few days into last week to finish those assignments. Eliminated an assignment or two to help you catch up to this week. And then now we're going to be starting a brand new module today as well. I also want to note that I did not publish the exam for last week until late in the week. So I'm going to give you a few extra days to get that done as well. And I apologize for that. I was supposed to go back and make some edits to it. I decided not to. So everything that you covered in chapter 14 will not be on the quiz or the exam, but everything on chapter 15 and 16 and 17 will. So that's fine. Take the exam and then dive into this week's module because it's a whole new area of content. Now we're going to be looking at financial statements. We're going to be looking at balance sheets. We already kind of started on that, but we're going to be looking at how do you invest your money, how do you raise money, and how do you calculate some of these things. So we'll be looking at taxes and business statistics this week, and then we'll jump ahead when I look at the class in Canvas and show you what's coming up in the weeks ahead. But this is your fourth and final module that you're going to be working on. So you will be doing a final case study as well as preparing for your final exam. So let's take a look at what you should be working on this week, and I'll also note about the exam and where that's at. So let's take a look at our class in Canvas. And here we are. We're going to go ahead and select module number 4 because that starts today. Module number 4, the last and final module. Again, we're almost done, wrapping it up here quickly. So as I look ahead then to module number 4, that's actually incorrect. This is module 3, so module 4 starts right here. All right, so everything's unpublished at the moment, but by the time you watch this video, it'll all be published. It'll all be ready and set up to go. I'm actually doing this video earlier in the week prior. So by the time you look at it, it's going to be fully up to speed. But keep in mind, this is the module we're in, 13. So there is a Read Me First. There is a Help Sienna that addresses both Chapter 21 and Chapter 18. Chapter 18 deals with taxes. It's pretty simple. It'll be dealing with some excise taxes and a few other things. So it doesn't have a lot to it. Sales tax, stuff like that. And then business statistics also doesn't have a lot to it. So I'm going to say this is going to be a fairly simple week. And hopefully that's good because, as I mentioned, your exam, number 3, I didn't publish it until Thursday of last week. And so I'll probably move the date on that. I'll do it right now while I have you on this video. I'm going to move that till Wednesday. So let me edit that. And I'll put some notes in here to identify that, but you'll have till Wednesday to get that done. So I'm going to go ahead and select Wednesday, the 20th. So I'll give you to the 20th to get that exam done. And then back to modules. So looking at this week's module again. So that's the exam. You have till Wednesday to do that. And then as we look into module number 13 here, module number 4, week 13. So you're going to have those. So I do have a study page for chapter 21. By the time you review this on Monday, you will have a study page for chapter 18 as well. You are going to have a check-in assignment on chapters 18 and 21. You do have a quiz on chapters 18 and 21. And then there is a case study that you'll be starting also that really doesn't have much to do with either one of those things. I think one thing that happened with this class is my case studies kind of got behind. So really, they're going to be referring back to what you learned in module number 3 as you look at inventory valuation. So basically, you're going to be doing or performing 3 different inventory methods on a problem. And then once you've figured out the ending inventory value for using each of those methods, you're going to plug that into an income statement. And then you're going to complete the income statement. And that's going to be the assignment, the case study number 4. So I apologize that it's a week or a module behind. So you will have to refer back, but that'll help refresh your mind and memory as you prepare for for the final exam. So looking ahead, then we are going to be covering these two chapters next week, week 14. We're going to be covering life insurance, fire insurance, and auto insurance. This is a new module. I have not created it yet, but we realized a semester or two ago that there was some chapter content that we were not covering in this course. So that's going to be developed and to be ready for you in 2 weeks. And then the last week, you're going to be dealing with just one chapter on investments, which is chapter 20. And then the final week of class is just going to be your final exam, which will be not cumulative. It'll be only based on module number 4. So chapters 18, 20, 21, and 14. 14, 18, and 20 and 21. And that'll need to be updated as well. So that's pretty much it. So this week you're focusing again on chapters 18 and 21. So go through the study pages. Make sure you read me first and read the Help Sienna, do the check-in assignment, and do the quiz, and then get started on that fourth and final case study. And if you have any questions or concerns or something doesn't make sense to you, please reach out to me. We can set up a time in Zoom, or you can meet me during my office hours and we can work it out. And I'd be happy to do that. So have a great week number 13. And you will see me all on video again next week. And hopefully when I share that video, you'll see all those assignments ready to go for that week. All right, until then, have a great one.